guys, Paul here again, and today I'm going to be talking about, you know them, you love them, you hate them. They're brand new, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to despise this deck. I actually don't mind it. I think it's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are exaggerating that it's the worst, format ever. I think it's going to be interesting. Yu-Gi-Oh! Hasn't been like this, I want to say, ever, where traps aren't as relevant as... They're probably the least relevant they have ever been in the existence of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's pretty insane. The meta is going to be awesome. You got Evil Swarm, the only real trap heavy deck, and then you got the Prophecy and the Elemental Dragons, and water and stuff. It's going to be an interesting format nonetheless. Today I want to specifically talk about the Dragon Rollers and its matchups. I guess the other three decks that is going to be competing with for the most part. First off, I want to start with the Evil Swarm matchup. Now a lot of people are saying, oh, drop Ophion, that's game, you can't do much. And it is true, you have a limited amount of outs in your deck. A lot of the Elemental Dragons are running breakthrough skills to stop Ophion, and if it's in grave, you can stop it twice pretty much, so you can really try and get through all of those infestations that they have, so that's something neat. Then they have Book of Moon, and there's not really a lot of outs. You have the 6 hand traps that a lot of the Dragon Rollers are running, and the hand traps are very helpful in slowing down a lot of the decks, including Evil Swarm. You're going to try and stop them from making their Ophion. They probably still will, and you'll be in trouble. But the card you want to be saving for that Ophion is Blaster. Blaster's second ability, or one of its 12,000 abilities, is you can discard it in another fire card to destroy a monster on the field. Now, if they have the Dress or the Safe Zone or the Dark Illusion or whatever to protect their Ophion, you're going to be in some big trouble. But say you can actually connect that Blaster and pop their Ophion, you're in just such a good position. If you get to the start in the game, it's important. The dice roll is very important in the Evil Swarm matchup, because if you can just start off with the Draco Sack, they're going to have some problems. Of course, in order to make an Ophion, you need 2 monsters, and Evil Swarm specializes in summoning multiple monsters, so they can simply just summon their 2 monsters, attack the 2 Draco Sack tokens, and then overlay for Ophion. But that Draco Sack is 26, and that's a very important number when facing Evil Swarms, because Ophion's 2550, so if you can make anything bigger than that, they're going to have somewhat of a hard time getting over it. They do have the Dress to deduct your attack points, but it's still going to be a problem. And it just so happens that every rank 7 you run is 26 or more. Even Gaia Dragon, the monster with no effect, can do something. So those are my thoughts on Evil Swarm. Game 2, it gets a little easier. You could also say it gets harder because they sided, Imperial Iron Walls and maybe Soldier. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of cards you could side deck. So I would suggest siding cards like maybe MST to stop the Iron Walls and the Soul Drains and the this and that. And Compulsory is a pretty good card against them. I'm not sure how I feel in the card in Elemental Dragons, but I've been testing it and it hasn't been the worst. So you can use it in a mirror match. You can use it against Evil Swarms. But yeah, I think I've talked enough about Evil Swarms. Onto Spellbooks. I think Spellbooks is probably going to be a very easy matchup. I haven't really played against many. I know if they get the Jowgen out, you're going to be in kind of trouble, because Jowgen is a pseudo Ophion. The thing is, a lot of your baby dragons, or two of your 4 baby dragons, can run over Jowgen. So there's 1 out, or 4 outs, because you run 4 baby dragons that can run over it. And then you have the Blaster, which can pop it. And you have the Book of Moon and Breakthrough Skills, which can negate it. And then game 2, it gets so easy, because all these E-Dragons are either maining or siding Drill and Lockbird, and they have the 3 EEVs. And, I'm not even sure if I think Prophecy is is going to be able to compete with all these EEVs and Drill and Lockbirds in the meta. I mean, I'm not exactly sure on that, but just in theory, it seems like it just gets crushed by everything right now because everyone is just siding so heavily for Prophecy. So I really don't have much more to talk about Prophecy. Just acknowledge that Fade is a good card and acknowledge that Jowgen is a good card and play around them the best you can and you should be good. And then let's talk about Water now. Water is a very aggressive deck and it can do a lot. It can have a lot of game pushes, so maybe side some Swift Scarecrows or stuff. Mermail Abyss Gyos can be a problem for this deck sometimes, unless you have your breakthrough skills and such. Again, this is the meta has just evolved. All these packs came out and everything shifted from like a kind of a slow. The most aggressive deck was Water, and then there's a whole bunch of other decks that run a lot of traps. To this meta where there's like no traps and every deck's almost as aggressive as Water, which is, it's a pretty big shift in Yu-Gi-Oh! And wow, I just got off track, but yeah. So Water it's just, I haven't tested against a lot of the decks, but this is all theory, and I think it's going to prove to be right at the end. So Water, you're going to be playing against it. I feel like the Water matchup will kind of be like the Mirror match, which I would save for last because I think it's the most interesting matchup of the new format that we're kind of in. The new meta, not format, the new meta that we're in. So Water is interesting because in decks that can spam rank 7 so easily, you always have to understand that your opponent can make a big eye at almost any time. And that's a scary card because if you drop any powerful card, they can just take it from you. So if you drop a big eye and they drop their big eye after you, they can take your big eye and then use your big eye to take your other guy. And that can be, a really game-changing event in any game. So you have to know when to drop certain cards, and that's what I think, where I think the skill is in this format, or in this meta. I'm going to keep saying format. And you just need to know when to drop certain cards. Now I think Water is probably going to be a scary matchup. It is aggressive. You don't run a lot of traps to stop them. You have your Maxis and your Veilers, which can be nice. And some decks run Swift Scarecrow. I don't actually run it right now. But yeah, a really good thing you can do against the Water deck and Dragon Ruler deck is I see a lot of the Elemental Dragon decks are running, either a Dragoonity Corseska, which is a level 1 tuner, Wind, which you can search with Tempest, or Flamvell Guard, which is a level 1 tuner, Fire, that you can search with Blaster. So here's Corseska, and here's Guard. I think Guard has more defense points, as 2000. Corseska is kind of not so good, but they're just level 1 tuners to make your good level 8. So some good level 8s are Crimson Blader, which is just, I guess I'll just talk about Crimson Blader for now, and I'll get to the level 8s later. Crimson Blader is the nuts in the Mermail and the Dragon Ruler matchup. It's even pretty good against Prophecy sometimes because they can't drop High Priestess. But what it does is they can't summon any level 5 or higher monsters. They can't normal summon them, they can't special summon them. So no Abyss Megalos, no Teus, no Lead, no any Dragon Rulers. Dragon Rulers just get screwed over. They can't do anything if they've been Crimson Bladered. So those tuners have a lot of utility in that matchup. I don't know, the Water matchup seems the most scary, if not the second most scary, because Dragon Ruler Mirror match can be pretty scary too. There are some cards you can side against Water. I don't actually side a lot right now, but this is mostly the best card I would think about siding against Water. It pretty much stops them red-handed. I don't think they're running Undines right now, so they won't have the most outs to it, and it's also a very good card against the Mirror match, so I think Vandy's Fiend is a pretty good card to be siding right now. There's always, I guess Macrocosmoses and stuff, but I just don't think that's a good card to side in this deck. I don't know. I really think it's important to drop the Crimson Blader as early as possible. Remember, acknowledge that they can, if you can't actually destroy their monster with the Crimson Blader, they can take your Crimson Blader with their Big Eye and use your Crimson Blader against you to hurt you in the end. So you have to understand that big eye is like a really big thing in mirror match and the water match. Any deck that can drop rank 7s. On to the mirror match, the most interesting matchup, in my opinion. You know, I think the mirror match is skill-based, but I also think it's luck-based. The luck-based is, you know, if you draw a Super Rejuvenation or a Maxi, you're going to be drawing a lot more cards early game, and you might just be in the lead because of that. But I think it, at least in theory, I have played quite a few mirror matches. I think it would just be better to hold on to your cards, wait for opponent to make any kind of push at all, whether it be big or small, and then just try and capitalize on their push with either a Crimson Blader or a Big Eye to take their tempo and turn it against them, I guess. So, you just have to be careful when you're making a counterattack against your opponent, because say they make, you know, a Draco Sack and that's it, and they just go to attack, and then on your turn you make a Big Eye to take their Draco Sack, and you know, produce 2 tokens or whatever and pass back to your opponent. Like I said, they can just go, oh, I'm gonna make a Big Eye, I'm gonna take your Big Eye, I'm gonna use your Big Eye to take my Draco Sack back from you, and they're gonna be in a much better position. But again, it goes back and forth, because on your turn you could make a Big Eye, take the Big Eye, take the Draco Sack, and you're just back in the same position. These monsters all have a lot of attack points, so it can get very scary. You're not running any traps, so again, Swift Scarecrow could be a thing. It is an Earth that you can discard with Reactin, I think his name is. I don't know. The baby Earth Dragon. I don't know. I think the mirror match is really interesting. Game 1s, you have the breakthroughs to kind of slow them down. I don't think it's the best card in the mirror match. It could just be wrong. It does stop. I would usually save it for Big Eyes. Maybe a Draco Sack if you need to. Game 2, it is also solid. I've been siding it out. I'm not sure if that's the right thing. Can stop the Vanity Fiends and stuff, so that can cause problems, unless you have Blaster, of course. But yeah, Maxi is just really huge. I was testing against some people from my locals, and I used Maxi against them. You know, I saved my Maxis, and they would just keep going. They let me draw 10 cards, and they beat me. So I'm not sure if that's the way to go towards Maxi, but I don't know, that's the way they were doing it at locals, and they were beating me. Another thing is, I'm not sure why people are running this card yet. I'm still learning everything about the Dragon Rulers. I just picked them up not too long ago. But a lot of people are running this, and I understand that it like triggers your Super Rejuvenation and stuff. I haven't really got a direct answer as why people are using this. I want to assume it's because of Super Rejuvenation. But I did hear one of my friends tell me that it's to deck out Mirror Match, which I suppose could be a thing. You know, they're going to be using a lot of Super Rejuvenations, and all the dragons search out other dragons from the decks, and if they max you can just like special summon a whole bunch and then slam this on the table and deck them out. So card destruction is definitely an interesting card. I don't know if I actually like it in Dragon Rollers, but it is an interesting card. And so maybe that's like another win condition in the mirror match. Yeah, I really don't know how I feel about that. But so those are the 4 matchups of Dragon Rulers and how I feel about them. Now I'm going to give you a quick little deck profile on the deck I've been running. It's pretty cool. I brought it to locals, and I did pretty good. I went undefeated for the first 4 rounds, and then the last round I lost to a mirror match. It's funny because right now I don't own a Draco Sack, and fellow ARG member Joe Girlando is borrowing my Big Eye. So the only real thing my deck can do is drop Gaia Chargers, at least for now. I'm going to be getting some Draco Sacks soon, I hope, and Big Eyes. But yeah, so pretty much the point of my deck is just to make Gaia Chargers in rank 8. So I'm running 2 Dragon Tuners along with the 3 Veilers. So that's 5 Tuners, which is a lot for a deck like this. But so let me show you my 41 card deck real quick. Alright, so here's a quick little deck profile, using a different camera because my other one just died. Sorry if it's worse quality. Anyways, for hand traps we got 3 Maxi and 3 Veiler. Then for the, I kind of should have put this in a better order. For the level 1 tuners, of course we had the Veilers already, and then we got the Flammeville Guard and the Corseska. This is searchable by the Fire Guy, Blaster, and this is searchable by the Wind Guy, Tempest. So on to the dragons, there's 20 of them, 2 of each baby, and 3 of each big dragon ruler. So 3 wind, 3 fire, 3 water, 3 earth. For those of you that don't know Earth, you can discard an Earth guy, and you can special summon a monster from your graveyard. You can discard a Water guy with him, and you can send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can discard a Fire with him to destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field, and you can discard a Wind with him to search a dragon from your deck. So they're all pretty interesting. They all have a whole bunch of effects. Onto the spells. 3 Sark, 3 Super Rejuve. These cards are pretty darn good in this deck, in my opinion. I don't think I'd ever cut at least these guys. Next up is Book of Moon. Can kind of stop your opponent's plays. And it also works well with Crimson Blader and stops Electric Viruses game 2 and stuff. It's pretty good. Kind of another versatile trap card, I guess. Even though it's a spell. Quick play. I got 1 heavy because it blows out Evil Swarm every time. 7-star sword, Sacred Sword of 7 stars. Not sure how I feel about the card. I guess 1 is alright. And then the card destruction, another card I'm unsure of, like I said, but it is interesting. And then finally the 3 breakthrough skills. So that's 41, I believe. So I'm running the 2 tuners, like I said, because I don't actually have any real good rank 7s at the moment. So I need to win by Synchroing most of the time, or Gaia Chargers, which can happen sometimes, I suppose. Going to go into my side deck real quick. It's not the best side deck, but it's what I'm working with, because I don't have everything at the moment. I don't have Droll and Lockbirds. I need to get a lot before Nationals. I don't have even Eradicator Epidemic Viruses. So, as you can see, these should be Eradicators. It just should be 3 Eradicators, even though I don't have Big Eyes at the moment. I really do like Compulse, though. It's pretty good. MST solid. I could see myself cutting it to 2, though. Maybe. Exploders, because I can search it with the Earth Guy. And it's an out to Ophion, kind of, if they don't have a address. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think this is just a better card. Even though it's not searchable, it's just the perfect out to Evil Swarms. You can, if they just leave an Evil Swarm on the board, you can summon Tsukiyomi, flip it down, and get rid of it right there. If they have an Ophion on the board, you summon Tsukiyomi, flip it down, and then you can continue with your shenanigans. And then 2 Vanity's Fiend, which I think is great versus a lot of decks, and 2 Electric Virus. That's the side deck. It's 15 cards. Like I said, could use some work. And here's my kind of ghetto extra deck, because my only rank 7s are these guys. So if I can ever make him, I'm just going to. I know it's kind of hard to make. You need 2 waters, but it happens once in a while. And I make these guys all the time because they're all I can make. And then the random Slacker Magician because I run a whole bunch of level 1s. So I run a random level 4, 5, and 7. And then the rest are level 8s. So that's really the deck. Don't want to talk too much. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.